I wanted to take a moment and talk about something truly amazing for a little bit. No jokes, no hoax, no nothing. I honestly think this is a moment we need to get through. We have reached 40 years, damn near 40 years, of Iron Maiden. I think that's astonishing in itself, that they're still making albums, but after everything, Bruce Dickinson comes back with throat cancer, and they still put out an album in 2015. I mean, even if it was mostly finished, you gotta know that this album was not done all the way. He was recording some of this while going under treatment for his cancer. I mean, how freaking metal is that? Admittedly, it was mostly done from what I understand, but still, the man is a legend. 40 years of Maiden, and they come out with the Book of Souls, a double album on top of that. Oh my god, it's seriously inspiring, and in honor of Maiden, we're reviewing the Book of Souls. But first, for people that are not aware, let's do some history on one of the greatest metal bands to ever walk this earth. This is Iron Maiden. They started off an English heavy metal band in Leighton, East London in 1975, formed by bassist and primary songwriter Steve Harris. Their discography is now 16 albums long. Unbelievable. Iron Maiden was initially the early success of the 80s in a completely different lineup. They were formed with Steve Harris, the novel The Man in the Iron Mask by Alexandre Dumas, which saw around that time in which the verbal connection to the Maiden torture device. After months of rehearsal, Iron Maiden made their U.S. debut in St. Nick's Hall, and before taking up a semi-regular residency at the Cart and Horses pub in Maryland Point, Stratford. The original lineup didn't last very long, vocalist Paul Day being the first casualty as he lacked the energy and charisma on stage. He was replaced by Dennis Wilcox, a Kiss fan who used face makeup and fake blood during live performances. Wilcox's friend Dave Murray invited him to join, and to the dismay of the band's guitarists Dave Sullivan and Terry Rance. Their frustration led Harris to temporarily disband Maiden in '76, though the group reformed eventually with Murray as their sole guitarist. Steve Harris and Dave Murray remain the band's longest-standing members and have performed on all of their releases. Iron Maiden recruited yet another guitarist in '77, in Bob Sawyer, and he was sacked for embarrassing the band on stage and pretending to play guitar with his teeth. Tension ensued again, causing a rift between Murray and Wilcox, which convinced Harris to fire Murray as the original drummer, as well as the original drummer Ron Matthews. A new lineup was out, including cutting crew member Tony Moore on keyboards and drummer Barry Pudix, soon replaced by Doug Sampson. It took a while, let's just say. Record contract in the early years. In 1978, Iron Maiden recorded a demo consisting of 4 songs in the Spaceworth Studios of Cambridge, in a metal club called the Bandwagon Heavy Metal Soundhouse, located in Kingsbury Circle. It was published in Sounds magazine, and a copy was sent to the Soundhouse tapes. I don't know, in '79, this record deal was signed with EMI, asking Dave Murray's childhood friend Adrian Smith to join as the second guitarist. Smith declined because he was busy, so Iron Man hired Dennis Stratton instead. Afterwards, Doug Sampson left due to health issues and was replaced by Clive Burr. It just goes on, let's just say. They released Iron Maiden. It debuted at number 4 in 1980, in addition to live tracks on MTV. It includes favorites as Running Free, Phantom of the Opera, Sanctuary. Lots of hits. Seriously, it was amazing. From there, after the Kiss tour, Dennis Stratton was dismissed from the band as a result of creative and personal differences and was replaced by Adrian Smith. They released Killers, their second one, in 1981, after the inspiration from Edgar Allan Poe. Come 1981, Paul Di'Anno was demonstrating increasingly self-destructive behavior in his drug usage. About the comments, it just wasn't snorting coke, it was non-stop 24 hours every day. So they let him go at this point, and he was replaced after this by Bruce Dickinson, the man Bruce, and we get the real classic lineup of Iron Maiden. And they released Number of the Beast in '82, and the rest was history. From there, they went on to do so much. They went from there to make experimentation into Somewhere in Time, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, my personal favorite, opening for Megadeth, Guns N' Roses, lots of things, before finally getting their deserved fame. They made No Prayer for the Dying and Fear of the Dark. After Fear of the Dark, Blaze came in, Blaze Bayley, as Iron Maiden's lead singer Bruce Dickinson left the band for a while. That didn't go over too well, so he comes back in 2000 for Brave New World and Death Dance of Death and A Matter of Life and Death. From there, we get to Somewhere Back in Time World Tour, Flight 66, Final Frontier, and of course, Book of Souls. I mean, there's a lot of history with this group. It's just a lot to talk about. So, we're going to go through and do the review. It's going to be a written up review because there's a lot to talk about for Iron Maiden. So, just so you know, I wrote my thoughts down. But in truth, I don't need to think I'd look at it much. The fact that we come here and have an album with Bruce Dickinson's Cancer, it's amazing. Like I said, it's a miracle. It's a double album. It's incredible. This is easily the longest album they've made with 92 minutes. And it's the first ever album which they've had not every song having Steve Harris as a songwriter, with Bruce Dickinson solo writing 2 songs here, If Eternity Should Fail and Empire of the Clouds, which is the new longest song by Iron Maiden, clocking in at 18 minutes. This makes 40 years of Iron Maiden, and this is quite the way to mark that occasion. The opener, If Eternity Should Fail, was actually written by Dickinson in advance for use on a future solo album, but ended up being one of the best openers in Iron Maiden's in a long history, in a long time. I can't remember the last time they had an opener this strong. The song starts with a punch and a heavy in-your-face chorus, sure to swell up mosh pits in the tour, but the real meat of the song is actually the mid-song guitar solo. It steals the show and puts the album off on a true highlight. This song also uses the first open drop D running. It's not a lot of changes, but certain things make it just pop. Speed of Sound was the lead single released to an amazing music video, and it's off the album. It's quite a way to introduce the band as a new era. This starts by making the cowbell cool again before Bruce screams and enters the song. The chorus to this is huge, and it's one of the best from the band in a very long time. I know haters say that the song isn't edgy enough because it's more just rock, but you know what? People underestimate the power of a true metal sing-along chorus. I honestly think that it's a fun as hell song, and its crazy instrumentals and incredible range from Bruce are timeless. It's a true highlight. The Great Unknown starts with a much quieter and light guitar with some ominous vocals about an epic story yet to come. It goes into classic hammering solos, soaring vocals, and then ends as quietly as it began. Then we get to the Red and Black, which is an amazing track. It's one of the best here. It starts with a cool Latin slide guitar solo in a style that really brings out the solo. This song is 13 minutes long and packs a serious punch. This is my favorite song on the album. It really is. The guitar riff here is absolutely insane. I love it. It's a surefire classic, and when Bruce comes in to sing along with it, this song just shines. It's a late career just hit. It's going to be a hit. Don't skip that one. When the River Runs Deep is a very groovy song that, to me, it kind of feels like it's following the footsteps of one of my favorite songs from Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. I kind of get a Moonchild vibe, and I love that. Maybe it's just me, but I still think it's great. Bruce dives in the early part of the song with soaring vocals, but don't worry, there's lots of groovy guitar solos to come. Book of Souls is the final song on the first disc, and it is another highlight for sure, starting again with that acoustic, almost Latin guitar by itself, before chugging into a huge jamming riff. The song is militaristically triumphant. The riffs are huge, it's purely classic, and it ends the first disc on a huge high note that they will, in fact, follow up on the last disc. Starting up disc 2, we have Death and Glory. The beginning riff here feels almost like it follows in the same area of Ace's High, I honestly think, from Power Slave. It's a very battle-ready song, and it has a great chorus, just like Ace's High does, but you can picture people screaming along to Death and Glory with a tank image in the background. I can see it anyway. Shadows of the Valley this song is just a classic Maiden on riding the high confidence of this amazing album and jamming out along the best of the things that they do. Huge choruses, great guitar solos, a quiet beginning and a dueling solo end. It's just classic Maiden in everything. Tears of a Clown is a tribute written for the great Robin Williams. Bruce said it was one of his favorite songs on the album, and you can see why. It's truly a depressingly emotional song about a man that's seriously depressed and tries to get rid of his pain by making others laugh while feeling unbelievably tortured himself, as Robin Williams was. The Man of Sorrows, people say, is a continuation of that. It's a quiet start and slowly builds to a mid-pace with plenty of solos. It soars with the choruses, but it's mostly a mid-range song, but compared to the ballads and the heavier and faster songs, it's very welcome. I like it. It's a good song. From that, we get to Empire of the Clouds. This is another song, the second of the album, that was written just by Bruce, pretty much by himself, in a studio, before coming in with some guitar work from the band and orchestral background from a hired string section. It's, I think, the best ballad they've ever written. I honestly love this song. It's about trying to just, I don't know, get away from everything that's below you and float above it all. And be a better human being from the empire of destruction below you. It's one of the best songs on the album. It's one of the best closers in a while. It's an amazing ballad. It's got everything. It's just great, and it's so different from what you expect from Maiden. You can't help but love it. From there, I can't believe that we made 40 years of this. Into their career, can you picture another band 40 years still going, not just celebrating 40 years of old history, but actually still making albums after 40 years, and they come up with one that's this good? I can't think of anyone that's done that, aside from the exception of maybe Sabbath, but I think this is better than 13. I really do. And this coming right after the cancer battle with Bruce, I wasn't expecting an album for a while, but a double album. And as double albums go, it's able to keep my attention, and that's something that's not easy to do on double albums. It may drag on for a bit, but who cares? It's just amazing that they were able to come up with this. I think it's the best they've done since, as a solid album, fully all the way, since Fear of the Dark. And I know that's a huge statement, but I mean it. I honestly love this album. They could have coasted through and gone down in history as one of the greatest metal bands ever, but that's not how they do things. They come up with a late career gem with some serious highlights that will be hits in the future. Discography of Maiden. And that's it. It's great. Recommending If Eternity Should Fail, Speed of Light, The Red and Black, Book of Souls, and Empire of the Clouds. The whole album, who cares? 4 out of 5 stars. A little long, but